to the Neill Grading and Construction team. Neill was founded in 1966 in Hickory, North Carolina. In the mid-2000s, Neill Grading and Construction welcomed the addition of many new key personnel, and the company began to broaden its services beyond grading and utilities. With this expansion, Neill Grading has been on the rise and growing as a company while also growing with the community. Before you enter the field, we need to go over the safety basics. Here at Neill, we are committed to keeping every employee safe on and off the job site. We have a goal of 0 accidents on each and every job site. The safety of everyone working for Neill Construction requires cooperation and commitment from each person involved. Making the commitment to working safe and injury-free is not just the right choice, it is the only choice. We are dedicated to sending every employee home safely at the end of each day. It is not only your responsibility to be aware of your surroundings to keep yourself safe, but also to keep everyone around you safe. Every Neill employee and subcontractor has the right and responsibility to notify their supervisor or Neill management if they feel or see there are unsafe conditions on the job site. If you are involved with or witness any work-related injuries, it is your responsibility to report this immediately to your foreman or superintendent. All accidents will be recorded and reported by Neill management. Keeping the workplace as organized and as clean as possible helps maintain a safe workplace on each job site. When tools, equipment, and material are not being used, make sure they are out of all walkways and exits. This reduces the possibility of tripping over any clutter. Keeping a job site organized helps keep you safe and helps maintain a project schedule. Neill Grading and Construction has a zero tolerance policy for any employee being under the influence of drugs or alcohol on the job site. The use, sell, offer to sell, purchase, transfer, distribution, or possession of illegal drugs, drug paraphernalia, or alcohol on the job site is prohibited. If an incident occurs, Neill can require any worker involved in the accident to submit a post-incident drug screening and alcohol test performed within 3 hours of the incident. Neill Grading and Construction employees may be required to submit a random drug test or alcohol test as required by Neill management and to meet any DOT, CDL, or contract requirements. It is important to keep a safety and health manual on each job site to be able to reference. Make sure you have yours or access to one in the company truck at all times. Neill Grading and Construction provides first aid kits and supplies for all Neill employees at each job site. First aid kits are located in all company trucks and in office trailers when applicable. Know where to access the emergency action plan for each job site you are on. Like the safety manuals and first aid kits, this plan should be located in the company truck at all times for anyone to access. There is a sample of an emergency action plan on Appendix K located in the safety manual. When on any active job site, all employees, subcontractors, and visitors must be in personal protective equipment. Starting from the ground up, sturdy work boots must be in good condition and worn at all times. Grading and utility crews must have impact-resistant safety toe work boots. Shirts must be at least 3 inches on the sleeve, and some jobs may require long sleeve shirts to be worn depending on the contract. Pants must be long and properly fitting. High visibility reflective vests must be worn at all times on all work sites. All employees are required to wear gloves appropriate for their work at the time. Safety glasses must also be worn. Last and certainly not least, hard hats must be worn by all employees, all subcontractors, and all visitors at all times. Wearing the proper PPE is vital to keeping everyone safe while on the job. Make sure ladders are inspected and in good condition before use. Only use a ladder in a clear space away from any hazards. This includes overhead electrical lines and debris or tools. Do not go higher than the third rung from the top on straight or extension ladders. Make sure extension ladders are secure before use. Never step on the top or top step of a ladder. When climbing or descending, be sure to maintain 3-point contact. Each contractor using scaffolds must designate a trained and experienced competent person to direct and supervise the erection, use, alteration, and dismantling of any scaffold. All scaffold platforms must be secured to prevent displacement or overlap of their supports at least 6 inches but no more than 12 inches. All scaffold platforms over 10 feet in height must be equipped with standard guardrails including a top rail, mid rail, and toe board. Anyone working on a scaffold more than 6 feet in height must wear fall protection. "100% fall protection is required when you are 6 feet above the ground. Fall arrest systems shall consist of an ANSI-approved body harness, shock-absorbing lanyards, approved anchorage connectors, and anchor points. You must be connected to the equipment at all times when above 6 feet off the ground. Harness and lanyards are required in aerial and scissor lifts. Never drop anything from over the edge of aerial equipment. This could cause danger to you or could harm someone below. Hard hats are required at all times on and off aerial equipment. Workers must not sit, climb, or stand on guardrails or toe boards of the aerial lift or scissor lift to increase working height. GFCI protection must be used with all power cords and tools. Extension cords must be 3-wire types and designed for hard or extra hard surface. Be sure no electrical cords are exposed to wet or damp locations unless properly rated for wet or damp locations. Make sure there are no cords in the walkway or aisles to prevent tripping hazards. Flexible cords in use must be in good condition. Any frayed, worn, or damaged cords should be removed from the job site. All electrical cords must be equipped with grounding pins. If no grounding pins are present, the cord is to be taken out of service until repaired. Portable generators must be properly grounded. Entering a trench or excavation is prohibited until approved by a competent person and properly protected to prevent cave-in. When trenches or excavations are 4 feet deep or deeper, adequate access and egress must be maintained at all times while workers are in the trench. Ladders, stairs, and ramps used for access to trenches shall be placed where they are within 25 feet of any worker in the trench. Only certified crane operators will be allowed to operate cranes on Neill grading and construction projects. Crane operators will have the authority to stop hoisting activities. All rigging and hardware will have a manufacturer's tag or be otherwise marked notifying its safe working capacity. No one is allowed directly under or in the fall zone of a suspended load. Manufacturer's machine guarding must be used on all power tools, including grinders. Make sure you are wearing the proper eye protection and proper type of gloves for the work being done. Be aware of the fire protection requirements and hot work procedures. Each company vehicle is equipped with the fire extinguisher that should be inspected each month. Employees must be trained and familiar with escape routes, location of exits, the location of firefighting equipment, and the safe use of fire extinguishers. All fire exits and paths of egress shall be kept unobstructed, unlocked, and marked. Always know where the nearest fire extinguisher is. When using a fire extinguisher, remember pass. Pull the pin, aim at the base of the fire, squeeze the handle, sweep side to side. Hot work activities include burning, welding, cutting, grinding, or other operations that produce a flame or sparks. When employees or subcontractors are performing hot work inside an existing finished or occupied building, adjacent to existing finished or occupied buildings, where there is substantial potential for fire-based conditions, a hot work permit is required from the contractor performing the hot work. Make sure there is a fire extinguisher within the immediate work area. No flammable or combustible materials can be stored within 35 feet in any direction. Anything that cannot be moved must be covered with a fire blanket or suitable shielding material. At least one fire watch person will be assigned. All personnel doing hot work should have on the proper PPE to maintain personal health and safety. Entering confined spaces are prohibited without approval. A detailed confined space entry permit is found in Appendix Q of the Safety Manual and will need to be completed and approved prior to entry. The safety manager will have overall responsibility for implementing the hazard communication program, and project managers and supervisors will be responsible for ensuring the requirements of this program. Safety data sheets will be obtained from the chemical manufacturer and made available to employees for all known hazardous chemicals and materials used or stored by Neill Grading and Construction. Chemicals belonging to or used by other contractors and employers in the work area must also be evaluated, and necessary SDS will be obtained and made available to employees. SDS will be maintained with the chemical inventory at each Neill Grading and Construction office and in each company truck at a minimum. The use of mobile devices during work hours is restricted to business-related purposes only, unless on meal breaks or authorized by management. Never place calls, read or send text messages on your phone while operating equipment or any other motor vehicle. Equipment and vehicles should be operated by persons that are authorized and properly trained. Always wear your seatbelt while operating equipment or in a vehicle. Never leave equipment unattended with the engine running. Shut off the engine and set the parking brake before exiting. Do not use equipment in ways it was not intended to be used. Riding in the bucket, on the forks, fenders, or running boards of equipment is prohibited. Also, riding in the bed of a truck is prohibited. If you are not operating equipment and you are on foot, be aware of your surroundings. Make sure operators can see you before walking your equipment or vehicles. Never approach equipment from the operator's blind side. Always be sure the operator sees you before approaching. It is important to stay focused while at work. Distractions can cause an increased risk of injury. Not being aware of your surroundings can cause injury to yourself or others. Do not operate equipment unless authorized to do so. Horseplay is prohibited. If you ever feel unsafe on a job site, know that you can and should report this to your supervisor or Neill management without fear of retaliation. Neill Grading and Construction reserves the right to immediately terminate an employee or remove a subcontractor from any project for at-risk behaviors that are immediately dangerous to life and health of oneself or others. We understand this is a lot of information, but we want to do all we can to keep you and your coworkers safe at all times. We are excited you are a part of the Neill Construction team.